If I'm giving attention to something that I don't law of attraction doesn't know I'm Michael Losier, whether I want it or don't want it, or whether it's so obedient, it'll unfold and orchestrate to bring you more of what you're giving attention to. So if you're listening in and you're thinking, I wonder what the vibration is I'm sending about money, well, I can tell you from here. If you're curious and you want to know what the vibration is you're sending about money, open your wallet. I quickly learned that it wasn't just enough to be stimulated by the idea. People wanted the how-tos. Matter of fact, Oprah is the one that coined me the how-to guy. I'd be remiss if I didn't say that.
Imagine your own brain is pushing away success. What if I could get Michael Losier to teach you how to attract success?
I think understanding what drives you is really important. When I was younger, money was always the motivation. As I got older and we get older, it's like, you know what? I need to be a little bit more fulfilled. So understanding what fulfills you. I didn't create the rule, I'm teaching it. You get what you vibrate, period.
He's the author of Law of Attraction, and he's going to teach it to you today. Michael Losier. Hi, Michael. You're one of the 3 people I've had back twice on my podcast, and we've been together for a long, long time, you and me. And I want to talk about a subject today that we don't talk on much in success, and that is letting go. To move forward, sometimes you got to let go of other things. What's your take on that, on the whole idea of letting go to move forward?
Well, I added to a longer sentence, and thank you for having me back. I'd be remiss if I didn't say Oprah scheduled to interview me for 25 minutes and kept me on the phone for 4 interviews. So you're in good company, so thanks for having me back. Well, the notion of letting go, how it applies to me, because I help people, they identify what they want this experience to be and their ideal client and their finances and their boyfriends and girlfriends. They get clear about that. The notion for me about letting go is letting go of the way you think it needs to come to you. I know it's a longer sentence, but people say, I want to attract new customers and I got to do this to do that, or I got to go to a networking meeting. And I'm saying, let go of the way you think it needs to come to you. Because when things come to us through law of attraction, I always say, did it come to you from a place that you thought it was going to come from? And they say, never. I would have never guessed in a million years that I was going to meet a client at the coffee shop sitting down, that whole serendipitous, synchronistic moment. So I tell people, don't try to figure it out. Just let it go. Just let go of the control that you think it needs to be here and here. So that's my interpretation of letting go.
Now, that seems real easy when we talk about it, but there's an emotional whole, like, what do you mean I have to let go? What do you mean I have to give up on that sort of thing? Take me through, maybe coach me, Michael, coach Brad on how do I actually let go of that stuff? What would I have to do?
Okay, say for example, and it's all scenarios. Say for example, I'm working with somebody that wants to attract more business and more customers or clients, and they know they've got existing clients and they need new clients. So now they're trying to figure out a way to do that. And they got a plan put together. Now the plan's good because the plan set the energy in motion. When I say, okay, I'm resetting, here's what I'd like to attract 10 new leads every month, and I'd like them to be ideal, which means they turn into customers. I'm just not out there. An ideal client, it's a lead I meet, that somebody gives it to me. So that's my goal. And then when it comes to, then we're trying to figure out, well, what do I need to do? Where does it need to come from? And they're thinking, oh, I'm going to go to this networking meeting. It's the only place I can find people. And yet there's so many other opportunities. So I help people build the list of the possible opportunities. And I say, where could you find a new client? Well, I've got old clients, I've got existing clients, I've got referrals, I'm on this system, I'm on this system. And now they're letting go of this tunnel vision that they think it needs to come from there. It's always the blocks to manifestation, is this thought that it needs to come from there and nothing else is possible. So letting go could be the idea that it needs to be here, or even when people are goal setting, I want to get 10 clients. That's my goal, is 10 clients. And I kind of say, let go of the number. What if it's bigger than that? And what happens with goal setting is that most people are keeping score that they're not there yet. Well, I wanted 10 clients. I only got 8. Oh, you can let that go. Like anything that's bucking up against your positive vibration is like, in my world, we would celebrate the first client that signed up out of 10. We say, here's what I like about this first client. They're this and this and this and this and this, and I'm letting go about where they need to come from. That's how you order an ideal client, and you give attention to the one that you have.
celebration. Because I want to get into the law of attraction, which is your smoke on the water. It's like your horse with no name. It's the song. It's the one thing that keeps coming back. It's 22 years since you wrote that book, and it's still a bestseller, and it's still crushing it around the world. But celebration is a big part of what you've taught me over the years. Explain why celebration's important, how it works, and how we can do it better.
Yes. Well, first, I'm going to put a little disclaimer on the word celebration. Not all four communication styles use that word. A kinesthetic person, they use the word celebration. An auditory person, they don't use the word celebration. They would say, oh, I'm going to talk about what's resonating with me. Why? Because that's auditory. So if I told an auditory person, you need to celebrate your wins, celebrate. I don't have any feelings, but I'll tell you, it's true. I'll tell you all the things that I like about my new client that signed up. So here's the secret. Law of attraction doesn't care how you're giving it attention. And this is the guy from my book. It's Vibrational Victor. It's not me. And he's got a vibe around him. And that vibe around him is what he's giving attention to. And whatever you're giving attention to, just set the energy in motion. This is how you submit the order. Is whatever you give attention to.
So kinesthetic celebrates, auditory talks about, visuals.
Visual? Oh, the visuals, you could say something like, hey, paint me a picture. Oh, they love that. It's very, paint me a picture. Or here's how I see it. It has the word see in it. And we might even build, because I'm visual, I will even build the list. Here's what I like about my friend Bob. He's this, and he's this, and he's this. And then the fourth group is the thinker. So they could be just thinking about their ideal client. You know what I think? I think Bob's one of my best clients. He's this and he's this and he's this. But the secret is law of attraction doesn't know how it got into your vibration. So I'm going to use the word celebrate. What does that mean? Some people, I'm going to say old school, is like maybe keeping a gratitude journal. Well, what's that? A gratitude journal causes you to give attention to things that you like. Well, what's a list of my accomplishments? A list of your accomplishments is just giving attention to things that you accomplished. So that's why people, particularly Oprah, love the whole notion about the gratitude journal, because it made people attract good things, but there's a science behind it. You're not grateful for the crappy stuff. So now I'm talking about what a great meeting I had with Brad. It was this and I was this. And law of attraction doesn't know I'm recalling the meeting. It doesn't know if I'm remembering or pretending. I just submitted the order for doing that. And for a business person, they say, I don't know what to do with marketing. Well, first sit in your office and pull out your file folders and go through what you like about Bob and Betty and Dan and Keith. And law of attraction doesn't know you're going through files. They say, oh, here's what I like about David. David always buys my big package. He stays for 3 months at a time. He networks me, and he talks about me on social media. He always gives one of his sessions away. Law of attraction doesn't know who I was talking about. It was responding to what I'm giving attention to. So that's how you submit the order for the ideal customer or client. Give attention to the parts that you like. And again, back to let go of where you think it needs to come from. That'll block you. Because, I've been in the manifestation business. I always said, hey, did this come from a place that you thought it was going to come from? The answer is no, not in a million years. Don't try to figure it out. It's not your job. Your job is just like going to Google. Your job isn't to tell Google where to go find it. Step number one with Google, I got to tell Google what I want. I don't tell it what I don't want. So now I go to Google and say, I'm looking for one of these, just like law of attraction. I'm looking for one of these. And then when I go to Google, I press enter. So when I'm talking about my desire, this is the enter button. This submits the order when I give anything attention. Now, the step that's different between Google and law of attraction, with Google, we have a knowingness that Google's going to figure it out. And it's going to come back with some suggestions. They all might not be okay. Do you notice we don't get ticked off when Google gives us a suggestion? That, oh, you know what, Google? You're pretty close. You almost found the right Michael in Victoria, because if you just type Michael Victoria, there's 3 Victorias in the world, and there's lots of Michaels in all of them. So you got to narrow this. We don't get ticked off at Google when it's not close. We help it. Oh, here, Google, let me help you. But when it comes to law of attraction, when we start to get things that aren't what we wanted, we get ticked off when it's just evidence of our vibration. So whether it's Google or whether it's law of attraction, look at what you're receiving, get excited about how close the match is. It's like, wow, I almost had an ideal client today. At the end, they didn't hire me, but here's what they were. They were this and this and this and this and this and this and this. That's another little good technique there, by the way. If you're leaving a sales meeting or a date and it didn't work out, what you tell yourself on the way home resubmits the order. Oh, what a horrible meeting that was. I wasted my time. Even if you're by yourself in your car, you're still being eavesdropped on. So you got to reframe that experience and celebrate the closeness of the match. I wanted a client that had these 10 characteristics. This one had 7. Oh, am I ever getting close? Back to Google. Wouldn't we get excited by Google? We say, oh, Google, you're getting close. Let me tweak one word. And how do you know when Google's got it right? You can tell by how you feel. It's like, thank you. This is the one. It's usually not the first one, by the way, when Google comes back with answers. But it's good to look at the first one to see how close you're getting. That's what we do. So I wonder let me look at the first one. Oh, look at all the Michaels and Victoria. No, it's not right. So, and this, give me some more clarity. Just like Google, the more clarity in your request, then the less feedback you'll be getting. Try this, try this. No, it's not part of the search. So I'm just going to summarize. Step number 1, whether you're ordering a pizza or you're looking for Google or you're using law of attraction, you got to know what you want. You can't go to Google and type in what you don't want and expect to get what you did want. Matter of fact, after this interview, if you're listening, go to Google and type in no pink elephants. And if you think you're going to get a blue one, you're in for a surprise. When I type in no pink elephants, you know what Google does? Google strips away the words law of attraction and now brought me what I said I didn't want. It's not very smart, but it's obedient. And the same with law of attraction. If I'm giving attention to something that I don't want, law of attraction doesn't know I'm Michael Losier, whether I want it or don't want it. Or whether, it's so obedient, it'll unfold and orchestrate to bring you more of what you're giving attention to. So if you're listening in and you're thinking, I wonder what the vibration is I'm sending about money, well, I can tell you from here. If you're curious and you want to know what the vibration is you're sending about money, open your wallet. It's a perfect match. Do you want to know the results that you're getting about attracting ideal prospects? How's your prospect file folders? I didn't create the rule, I'm teaching it. You get what you vibrate, period.
Yeah. It's really interesting, Michael. It doesn't matter how long I keep reading, studying, learning this with you, hanging out with you, talking about this subject. It's always a really big reminder for me to just stay focused on the positive. What do we do, Michael, if we do catch ourselves moving into the negative? Is there a way? What's the strategy to get myself back to the positive?
Well, you know, I have the answer to that because everyone's always telling people, be more positive, be more positive. And you say, how? I don't know. I got negative thoughts all the time. Well, first, let's talk about a negative vibe. A negative vibe comes from you giving attention to something you don't like, a bad memory, a bad experience. And I'm going to show you 3 words. Now, here's everybody's homework between now and the rest of your life. If you can do it, draw a circle the size of a golf ball and write these 3 words in it: don't, not, and no. You see, every time I use the word don't, not, and no, I just gave attention to what I did. So if I say, I don't want my clients to cancel, type that in Google and see what you get. You'll get canceling clients because Google isn't smart. So when I say I don't want canceling clients, I just submitted that order. I don't want this to be difficult. I just said, don't forget, don't be disappointed. This is not a scam. Well, I never thought it was until you brought it up. So every time we use the word don't, not, and no, think, oh, I just submitted that order. But there's a real easy fix. 2 circles, the most important you're going to learn today is the other circle, and it is the reset. I'm going to show you a big vibe reset button. If you want to get different results, you need to change your vibe. When you catch yourself using the word don't, not, and no, you simply say, so what do I want? Don't forget. Oh, what do I want? Remember. Oh, that feels different. You see, when the words change, the vibration changes. You won't be disappointed. Oh, I just said you won't be disappointed. What do I want? You know what? You're going to be pretty excited about this, yes? Don't, don't be disappointed. Don't hesitate to, anybody say that in email? Don't hesitate to contact me. So what do I want? Hey, contact me within a couple days. Go back and read your emails and highlight every time you use the word don't, not, and no. And not even knowing it, you just submitted the order. But from now on, you cannot not hear my voice say, and burn the image, by the way, every time you use the word don't, not, and no, you cannot not hear my voice say, so what do I want? And when I go from what I don't want to what I do want, the words change. And when the words change, the vibes change. And the only way to get a different result is to change your vibe, period.
It's funny, Mike. I'm thinking back to I was playing a buddy of mine in pickleball the other day, and The Inner Game of Tennis is a book that I absolutely love and adore. I just said to him, "Hey, when you serve like that, do you breathe in or out?" And it was like I got him thinking, and I got him in his head, and all of a sudden, I took the game. But it's funny how we get in our own heads, though. And is that like using those words is getting in our own head? So we replace it with what do I want? I remember you taught me an activity one time of make a list of the things you don't want. And then on the opposite side, make a list of the things you do want. Why does that work? It blows my mind, but it works, but why?
It's magical about how that works. Let me give that a little bit of context. In the three-step process for law of attraction, I'm just going to talk about my book here for a minute. It's based on 3 steps. By the way, one of the reasons why my book is successful, and I don't even call myself a writer. You know what? I'm a good guy. You know what I'm good at? I'm good at designing programs. So, and law of attraction is a system. You give me a system, I can write a program on it. Opening, closing, exercises. So my book, Law of Attraction, was about 100 deliveries of a seminar. And I kept notes and everything. And I quickly learned that it wasn't just enough to be stimulated by the idea. People wanted the how-tos. Matter of fact, Oprah is the one that coined me the how-to guy. I'd be remiss if I didn't say that. And so I quickly learned that I needed to make the law of attraction into a process. So it's the 3-step process. Imagine just like ordering a pizza. Step number one says, what do you want? I can't call the pizza people and tell them all the things that I don't want on the pizza. It doesn't work. So I need to know what I don't want. The best way to know what you do want is to know what I don't want. We go to a restaurant. I don't know what I want, but I use the menu to help me birth I don't want that. That's too many calories, or that's too puree, or that's too spicy. I'm using that to get clear. So you can birth clarity through a brief observation of what you don't like. I don't like when clients cancel at the last minute. Well, you better reset that vibe, because when when we're complaining about a cancellation, you're resubmitting. And the very moment you say, what do I want? Yesterday was ideal. I had 4 clients yesterday. They all showed up 2 minutes early. They see how you do that? And the reason why is because I can only have one thought at a time. So the longer I stay in the don't, not, and no zone, or the complaining zone, or the worrying zone, it just keeps repeating orders. But it's okay to get ticked off and angry and break dishes, but as long as you do it briefly. It wouldn't make sense to say, never be negative, never get mad. Oh, you can get mad. Just don't spend 3 days getting ticked off at it. Get your little, have your little spit fit, get it in 2 sentences or 2 minutes. And the whole purpose of that is to reset your vibe and say, I hate when that happens. Here's what I do want. And all of a sudden, that clarity has birthed this new energy. Here's what I want instead. I want clients that pay on time and do. And that little rant, you can feel it. Like, that's what I want. And that set the energy in motion. So complaining and worrying, and notice what you don't like, keeps resubmitting the order. And we have the power to change our vibration with the real simple removal of these words. Now, do I still use them? I'm using them with you, and I'm really hearing my voice say, it's trying to correct me. That's how trained I am. But it's a trained behavior, and it does help if you put that on your fridge or on your computer with a circle in it, just to burn the image. And somebody will go to type, don't hesitate to contact me, and the little baby finger is going to go backspace. And at first it takes a minute, with moms and dads, right? Don't touch the stove. Well, you're going to say that in the moment, but how can you relanguage that? Keep your hands away from the stove. Now, you might not think of that in the moment, but everything needs translation. Don't hesitate to contact me. The new thing is, contact me within a couple of days. But once you convert it once, you'll never go back to the other way. And it's training your brain with this new behavior.
It's funny, though, Michael, because if you learn different languages around the world, many of them are not double negative languages. The English language is seems to be a more double negative language, no worries, no problems. Don't like it's funny how other languages don't struggle with this as much.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting because my book's in 37 languages, and I never got involved in the translation. But when I went to Malaysia, I worked in Hong Kong and China and Malaysia and Singapore. But when I went to Hong Kong, a woman had the Chinese version and the English version. And she said, in Chinese, we don't use the word don't, not, and no. So she was telling me the interpretation. So they had to teach this piece, and they don't really use that. So that was the first time I thought, oh, not everybody. But other languages, talk about what they don't want. So it's very universal to teach people.
So I want to go into another subject, Michael, that I think I admire about you, and that is the subject of consistency. And it's not necessarily something you teach, but it's something you do. Did you consciously decide on consistency? Like you've done a podcast, YouTube podcast now for how many weeks in a row? Like 4,000 or something?
Well, I have about, my friend John and I have been doing a joint show together, and it's about 5 years old. So we have about 300 episodes on that. We're doing it once a month now. We were doing it every Saturday. And honestly, it really built our business. And, in my business, that means healing people's physical pain within minutes. I can't put that on a billboard and have it make sense. So I got to do the know, like, and trust. So I do presentations every Friday and then talk about consistency. I tried a lot of different things. I tried Facebook and I tried going live on LinkedIn. And when I say I tried, I'm not one off. I committed for 8 weeks and then I measured it, and LinkedIn never cut it for me. And I leaned forward with LinkedIn and LinkedIn Live. And then I'm on LinkedIn one time, and one guy, he said, hey, join me on my Zoom for a networking event. And he put the Zoom number out there. And I thought, is he crazy? Just putting a Zoom number? So I thought, and as soon as I saw that innovation, you know what? I clicked on the Zoom link and I joined us live. It was a bunch of people. It was well managed. Everybody had 2 or 3 minutes. And I thought, here's an idea. I've got at least 5,000 emotion code friends and clients and practitioners. And I thought, in a group, and I thought, I'm just going to give them the Zoom link. So since January, every morning at 9 a.m. Pacific, I'm doing a Zoom event consistently. And now we're like on month 3. I have people coming back. People know it's Friday. They don't have to look it up. They know what the link is. People are coming in, getting sessions. So consistency. And again, doing it more than once to see how it's going to work. And it took me probably till episode number 8 and the end of February that I polished it. And I was able to do my upsell with integrity and because I had to learn how to say that and be able to show people the offers that I do and everything and get people coming back. And so now I've got that all mastered. And Michael Losier style, I'm also mentoring practitioners. I'm teaching them how to do it. So I have a practitioner 90-day program. I'm teaching them how to go live on Zoom and do demonstrations and then also let people know about other things that are available. So that's very me to do that, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that the amount of you have the Gary Vee, just create more content. But it's the consistency with which you've done it over the years that I think there's a lot of people that would love to have a best-selling book, but there's not a lot of people willing to do the work to create a great book, but also the work to just promote that book forever and a day. And I think that's a big thing. Top that off, I want to add a second part. You've created, and I want to know how you've done this because I think it's very valuable to everyone. You've created like a following, I guess, there's a way of people want to promote you. Like it's not just that they like your stuff, they want to tell everyone about your stuff. How did you do that? Did you consciously do it? What is your methodology? Because you become the center of conversation. Yes, Oprah did it for you, for goodness sake. How did you do it? And how can we copy or learn from that you've done?
Well, I thank you for the compliment. And I'm thinking of some things as you're talking about. I remember a long time ago, probably in the when I was writing my book, I remember a speaker or a trainer, could have been you, said something like, if people get to learn more about themselves, then they'll like you. So I'm teaching people about why they attract negative things, what to do different. So they're not just listening. I'm actually teaching them how to do something different. The other thing that I was pretty good at doing is branding myself. Now, I created this 25 years ago, and now I see t-shirts on it, but this right here, the Vibrate set button. That was unheard of. And I created that early in my career because, and I say this respectfully, I wanted to brainwash people. I wanted to wash their brain. Even this, the don't, not, and no in the circle, it's all deliberate. Of course, they're part of accelerated learning techniques as well. But, people write that down. And these little these little cards here, the amount of people that are printing these off, these are actually photos, and using them. And I'm not asking for anything. It's just having in your house, just remind you. And again, I'm helping people learn more about themselves. And I think that's what the success there is.
Well, hey there, and thanks for listening. I've noticed that 78% of you are brand new, which means you haven't hit the subscribe button yet. By subscribing, you help us bring on even better guests, better quality content, and serve you better with even more podcasts. So please hit that subscribe button. It only takes a second. It makes a huge difference. If you support us, we're going to support your success and help you achieve big success together.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. Actually, there was a study done recently of young kids, and it talked about the most popular kid in school, and it went through, who is the most popular kid in school. And interestingly enough, the most popular kid was the kid who liked the most people. So it was almost a reverse. If I was the person that walked down the thing and I liked more people, I would say hi to everyone in the hallway. And magically, I became the most popular because I liked the most people. It's funny that way. But yeah, I love that idea that if I'm helping people learn about themselves, they will become, yeah, I like that evangelist type thing. So let's go to the subject then of connection, because part of that style you have is you have an ability to create a connection, and you become a master and a teacher on the subject of connection. What creates connectivity between people, normal life, business life, etc.? How do we do that, and how do we get better at it?
Yeah. I'm going to answer the question opposite in a negative way. I'll tell you why we break rapport with people. Right? So rapport means breaking rapport. Rapport means connection. It's a French word for connection. So when I break rapport with people, it's hardly ever repaired. So my job is to stay in rapport with people, then that creates the connection. The rapport happens and then the connection. And if I break rapport, meaning if I tick somebody off, we're done. Imagine having a client interview and I annoy somebody. It's hard that broken rapport is rarely repaired. So my job is always to stay in rapport. And the number, and this is all my own little world. The number one rapport breaker is when we're not communicating to match the other person's style. For example, in my book, Law of Connection, I talk about the 4 learning styles. Just real quickly, this is kinesthetic Kelly. She's touchy-feely. She likes the feeling word a lot. If you want to get her attention, use it, right? And then I have visual Vicky. Visual, she likes the word look and see. That's her words. And if I ask Vicky what her feelings are, or if I ask Vicky what her feelings are about something, I've broken rapport with her. Not in a bad way, but it's like, how do I feel about that? It's like I'm not getting a quick answer. There's auditory Al, he's the auditory guy. He likes the word sound. And then there's the digital guy. He likes the word think. So my job, whether, particularly if it's a client I'm working with, I know their dominant style, right? And I know that by listening. If my client says, I feel this and I feel that and I feel this, well, guess what? I'm not messing with that. I don't use that word. I don't use the feeling word, but I know to use it to build rapport with my client that does, right? So people say, well, that's a lot of work on your part. It is, yeah. Because I'm working with 4 styles all day. I mean, there's a 75% chance I could tick off the other 3 styles. So I need to have a well-rounded style, and that means listening and matching it to their style. And it's easy. People give their style away quite quickly.
Tell me more about that. When they give their style away, how do you pick that up? Okay,
we're going to do a little game together. Imagine you got an email from a client and they say this, hey, I'm going to exaggerate. Hey, Michael, I was looking at your website. It really caught my eye. I loved watching the video. It made everything clear for me. I'm not going to say, how'd it make you feel, right? You know what my answer to that is? So when do you see us having a meeting? When do you see us having a meeting? Or what looks good on your calendar, right? Because visual people, we love the calendar. Oh, we love and breathe the calendar. This starts. So that, and now I'm going to get an email that says, your website really resonated to me. I listened to all the audios, I took notes, and everything sounded great to me. I love your style. And by the way, when you hear someone use the word resonate, that's their feeling word. You know, because why resonate has to do with sound. So, you know what? That resonates with me. I think they're saying, yeah, that feels good to me. This is their resonate. Now I'm going to get another email, and this person says, oh, Michael, you really touched my heart. I love you so much. XOXO. I went to your website. It feels so comforting what you're doing, and you're helping people grow and live better lives. And well, that's totally kinesthetic. And then the last style is the thinker. And their favorite 2 words, by the way, if you have everybody in your life that uses these 2 words, I'm going to teach you today. I'm going to teach you how to talk to them best. And the reason why I'm giving more emphasis, because this style is not in most of the NLP trainings. This is the digital style, and their most favorite word is make sense. That makes sense. Do not ask them how it feels. Say, well, what are your thoughts on that? What are you thinking? What do you like best? You know why they like that one? Because now they can sort all the information. And you'll see their head, they go, oh, here's what I like best. Number 1, and they'll bullet it too. Number 1, boom. Number 2, boom. And a part of being an accelerated trainer like you and I, we're using techniques that satisfy all the groups. We're getting people to move their body with their hands and write stuff down and say stuff out loud. And look at this picture, look at this flip chart, hear this, say this. Because if we just did a lecture, we're going to lose 3/4 of the room, because only one style can sit and listen to a monotone voice and get it and respond well to it. The other 3 are tuned out and doing other things and so on.
Love it. Love it. Michael, if I was to sit down and summarize in your mind the strategies or the keys or the fundamental elements of success, what do you think it is that has contributed to Michael's success that others can learn from and follow?
Oh, that's such a good question. Well, I think understanding what drives you is really important. You know, I know when I was younger, money was always the motivation, you know, younger. And then as I got older and we get older, it's like, you know what, I need to be a little bit more fulfilled. So understanding what fulfills you. And it's not what job to work at this place or this place, but what is at that job? Are you getting your acknowledgement needs met if you have them? Are you getting your community? And not everybody has all those needs. So the first thing is, what fulfills me? What kind of environment do I like? And the other thing that's been helpful for my success is enrolling other people and doing stuff with people. Hey, do you want to do this together? Even with my friend John and I, we did 280 emotion code. And the very first time I thought I was the very first person in the world to do an emotion code session on YouTube. And I was nervous, but I'm a good calculator risk taker. And calculate at risk means it's going to be risky, but I'm going to calculate it. So I invited John, right? So now we're doing it together, and I'm not doing it by myself. And it's funny, the first 2 episodes, we've done like 300 episodes. I keep saying, I forget the number. The first 2 episodes bombed, and we didn't do a good job, and we fumbled. So when you see episode number 1, it's really episode number 3, but that was okay. So my strategy was calculate the risk, do it with somebody, and we turned out to be a great match. We have different energies, but we teach the same thing. And he attracts the kinesthetic client, and I attract the non-kinesthetic client because they like our style. So it's a good offering. Even though they're both men, that's not the criteria. It's like one's different than the other. So
love it. Brilliant. You're on the Big Success Podcast. Share this with your friends. Help them become more successful. Hit the show notes, do all the study, the learning, and we'll be back next week with more of your success.
You've been listening to the Big Success Podcast with the #1 business coach in the world, Brad Sugars. To learn more about how to achieve business and personal success, as well as how to level up or listen to past episodes, visit www.bradsugars.com.